West Coast hip-hop circles are ablaze with controversy after comedian Duno made inflammatory statements about Tupac Shakur and the role of Hispanics in hip-hop culture. This conflict has ignited a fiery debate between podcast communities, with racial tensions coming to the forefront of discussions about cultural ownership and contribution. The dispute began when a podcast called The Viral Way responded to comments made on the Hater Worlds podcast regarding Hispanic artists in hip-hop. A guest on Hater Worlds claimed that black people in the industry deliberately limit the success of Latino artists.
Go on and on, right? It's been competitive. It's never been unity. It's like there can only be like a certain amount winning.
Like, I feel like they shouldn't put a limit to how far a homie should go.
That's what they're doing now.
Exactly.
Yeah, even with who though?
I'm not gonna lie. You know who they? Okay.
You saying between the blacks and the Mexicans?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems like the blacks will let you win, but only up to where they want to.
To a certain extent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's where I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
This statement provoked a passionate response from The Viral Way, who defended hip-hop as fundamentally black culture.
Hey, check this out, cuz. Hip-hop is our culture, period. If you a guest, shut the f up and enjoy being a guest. So whoever said that on that podcast, f them straight up. Yeah, ain't no tap dancing, ain't no nothing. F them, period. Get them out the culture. Stop covering our culture. Cover your mother culture if you feel that way. Because you're not holding yourself back, right? Your people not holding you back. So go do podcasts about your culture. Go do podcasts about Hispanic music. Go do Hispanic music where y'all not holding each other back. If this the way you feel. Because really that was just some undertone racist. Really you just said, this is what it is. You see Kendrick, #1, Jay-Z, Nas, then you looking up there like, damn, who's a Hispanic Jay?
Duno, a prominent Mexican-American comedian, observed this back and forth and decided to offer his perspective on his own podcast. He first criticized both sides for relying too heavily on drama and conflict for content. Duno stated, however, Duno's comments took a controversial turn when he began discussing the role of Hispanics in supporting hip-hop, particularly in Los Angeles. He asserted that Hispanic fans are essential to the careers of many black artists, especially on the West Coast. Duno then made his most inflammatory claims, suggesting that Tupac Shakur, widely regarded as one of hip-hop's greatest artists, owed his career to Hispanic producers. This statement was immediately met with widespread criticism. Commentators pointed out that while Johnny J, who produced several tracks on Tupac's All Eyes on Me album, was of Mexican descent, Tupac had already established himself as a successful artist prior to that collaboration. Duno lost his mind. He lost every living cell of his mind to come on that podcast and utter this take. Now, if this was strictly a LA thing, then he would have a point. But the conversation was extending outside of LA. It was a hip-hop discussion about hip-hop in general. The criticism further highlighted that hip-hop has become a global phenomenon that transcends regional demographics. While Hispanic fans represent a significant portion of the audience in Los Angeles, the worldwide hip-hop audience includes diverse supporters from various backgrounds. Hip-hop is a global expansion at this point. Hip-hop exists outside of LA, outside of the United States. If, let's say, you take away the Hispanic support, hip-hop still got support from white folks, Asians, blacks, Native Americans. The critics also present demographic statistics to counter Duno's claims. Hip-hop needs the support of white folks more than the support of Hispanics. White folks is 75% of the population. Hispanics is 19%. So if white folks stop listening to hip-hop, it's over with. Viral Way directly addressed Duno's Tupac claim, calling it beyond diabolical. The controversy illuminates the complex racial dynamics within hip-hop culture, particularly in Los Angeles, where Hispanic influence is pronounced. One analyst described an experience at a live podcast recording where 95% Hispanics, 5% everybody else were in attendance, creating pressure for black podcasters to cater to their audience's sensibilities. When you have the majority of your audience that are all Hispanics, well, as a black person, that puts you in a tough spot, because essentially now you have to choose between your audience, who pays your bills, or your morals. So a lot of people choose to just acquiesce, to just get along. to not even try to ruffle the feathers or even issue their real opinion. Some commentators suggested that Duno's Tupac statement was particularly damaging because it fuels polarizing narratives. Comments like that create support for people like Tariq Nasheed or Viral Way, where they go to the extent of saying hip-hop is our culture, you guys are guests, get out. Others questioned why the hosts on Duno's podcast didn't challenge his statements more directly. One theory suggested they were concerned about alienating their Hispanic audience. AD pretty much knows how to give his real opinion in the right way to where he's not isolating or ostracizing certain people. He's articulate, he's well-spoken, he's smart. In contrast, Trell is a crash-out artist. Trell don't care about being friends with anybody. Trell is going to tell you how he feels, and he's not going to present it in a digestible format for you. The controversy also revealed competitive tensions between podcast networks, with one host from Viral Way claiming superiority over rival shows.
We have original content, bro. That's why they are able to do the reaction off of us. We have sustainability because our shit is authentic. They shit is like kind of phasing off because they going off with another motherfucker. They don't have their own original thought for their own self.
This claim was criticized as inappropriate coming from someone not central to the conflict. This is equivalent to like the third-string quarterback on the Rams telling Justin Jefferson before they play the Vikings, "Hey bro, we about to hold you to 5 yards this game." In follow-up discussions, other podcasters acknowledged that Duno made some valid points about podcast beef being played out, but went too far with his Tupac claims. They also emphasized the regional nature of his perspective. One podcaster said, "The
points.
Let
He
the
had some
young
valid
man
points.
rumble.
He had some valid points. He was cooking, but then
Let the young man rumble, man. We were sitting back. We like, go ahead, do it up. Hey, because he don't do rants like that.
he don't. Never.
So when he did it,
then he
he
said,
like, just let him cook. I'm like, let him cook. That's his take. That's his take. I'm like, let him cook.
Tupac.
But I'm like, I know once he said 90%, it's going to be people who be like, yeah, because it's people who don't understand. Like, he represents the West Coast, but he wasn't just big on the West Coast. Like,
Right.
people fuck with him everywhere.
Right.
So it's like, it take everybody to support him, not just 90% Mexicans. Like,
Another added,
They teach classes on him in colleges that's nowhere near the West Coast.
yeah, I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, that's not. No, bro.
90% was just a wild number.
Yeah.
If we would gave a realistic percentage, but 90% is a wild number
That's
to
not
say.
a wild number.
some speculated about Duno's age affecting his perspective.
Yeah.
Shout out to Duno, though, man. He was, you know, like I said, I don't even think bro was alive.
No,
With
Duno
Pac.
was born in 2000.
Yeah, nigga, Pac died long before that.
When he was born?
94.
He was only 2 when
He
he
was 2
died.
years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
damn.
there though.
Despite the controversy, several commentators acknowledged the strong Hispanic support for hip-hop in California.
Yes,
sure.
for sure.
On the West,
I
yeah,
got a lot
absolutely.
of Hispanic fans, bro, for sure. They be showing
They
most
support,
love.
they show love and
Them the
everything, you know
fans
what
I
I'm saying?
want.
They described typical audience demographics at shows.
Yeah, he not
That's
lying
one
about
thing he
Cali.
ain't lying. You go to them shows, nigga. You go to an artist show, nigga. It's gonna be nigga 80%, 75% Hispanics
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Like it be like
That's
sure.
going to be 2%.
Yep, 2%
Yeah.
niggas, and guess what? It's gonna be 100% trying to get in the backstage.
This prompted a discussion about different support patterns.
And I ain't gonna say all black people, most
Yeah,
black
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Let's
not
put
all.
most. I don't like
Yeah,
boxing everybody
yeah,
in.
nah.
But it is niggas who are proud to pay and will support shout.
Absolutely.
Who will support, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And support their homies. Then it is those who like, yeah, nigga, I support you, but I still want to get it free.
The conversation concluded with a recognition that hip-hop brings together diverse communities.
They just consumers of hip hop. Like the Mexican culture out here is consumers of hip hop. So I believe they support their own. Plus, you know, other races. You know what I'm saying? The blacks and whoever else you put out good music. Mainly just black and brown. You know, they
Everybody
for sure
support.
support black and brown for sure.
Everybody support everybody, man. Fuck it,
Yeah.
man. Everybody support everybody around this motherfucker.
Sure.
Do it up.
That make a lot more sense.
Yeah, that's not snitching.
No. Now, as far as Brick goes, I think a lot of people were really thrown off and saddened by.
They thought they were walking out, but the judge had other plans. In a courtroom showdown that felt more like a street war than a legal hearing, Brick Baby and Loose Cannon just got hit with a brutal reality check. No bond, no freedom, and no mercy from the judge. Let's get straight to it. Both Brick Baby and Loose Cannon were denied bond. They were confident they'd be released on April 9th because they had strong bond packages. Brick Baby's mom even put up a multi-million-dollar property. However, the judge denied their requests, citing similar reasons, including prior criminal history, potential interference with the legal process, and that the court believes they pose a threat. This doesn't stop them from reapplying for bond, but for now, they remain in custody. Brick Baby's hearing went smoothly, but loose cannons, not so much. There was some serious drama involving a neighborhood OG named Eddie Boy. I want to give you guys both sides, all right. The pro-loose cannon side and the anti-loose cannon side. Eddie Boy was in the courtroom. Apparently, they don't get along. Loose cannon straight up said in court, "Why is Eddie Boy here? I don't mess with him," right in front of everybody. The officers had to step in, telling him Eddie Boy had every right to be there. Court is public. After some back and forth, loose cannon finally cooled down. During the hearing, the prosecution brought up loose cannon's past charges to argue he was a risk to society. However, loose cannon claimed many of those charges weren't his. He said something like, "I didn't go to jail for that. My brother did those crimes." It turns out that loose cannon and his brother aren't just siblings. They're actually twins. Not only do they look alike, but they also have strikingly similar names. That's where things took a strange turn. Due to what appears to have been a clerical error in the legal system, the prosecution mistakenly pulled up his brother's criminal record and tried to use it against loose cannon in court. In other words, they were holding him accountable for things he never actually did. Now here's where things get tricky. Loose cannon pointed out the mistake to the court, making it clear that those charges didn't belong to him, but to his twin brother. That correction helped his case, but in certain circles, especially in the streets, calling out someone else's record, even if it's to defend yourself, raises eyebrows.
Yeah, I say that on the phone, like, "Yo, you nigga, why you on the phone?" I'm like, "Oh, because you know them calls is recorded."
Yeah.
So they like, "Man, what the you?" Yeah. I'm like, "Oh, I'm like, man." I started crying for a second, and I hung up the phone.
So, is that snitching? Well, some like 600 might say yes, because, technically, he revealed that his brother had a criminal record, even if indirectly. But from loose cannon's perspective, he wasn't trying to get his brother in trouble or cooperate with the authorities against him. He was just trying to clear his own name and avoid being punished for something he didn't do. In his eyes, it wasn't snitching, it was self-defense. The situation with Eddie Boy escalated. Loose Cannon's lawyer observed Eddie Boy on his phone and suspected he was recording. She alerted the judge, who had Eddie Boy escorted out to check. He wasn't recording and was allowed back in. Loose Cannon's past online activity was also brought up. Prosecutors are using his claims of being an enforcer and his comments about people's families against him. They even asked Eddie Boy if he wanted to press charges for those comments. But Eddie Boy said, "No, I don't need to. Loose Cannon is being accused of lying about fights in jail, which prosecutors say never happened. He's also accused of not being truthful about his gang affiliation. Some are saying he's not really a rolling 60. Loose Cannon and his associates deny these allegations. The fight outside No Jumper with JRE was brought up as evidence of Loose Cannon's violent tendencies. The prosecution is using this to argue that he shouldn't be released back into society. The situation with Eddie Boy escalated. Loose Cannon's lawyer observed Eddie Boy on his phone and suspected he was recording. She alerted the judge, who had Eddie Boy escorted out to check. He wasn't recording and was allowed back in. Loose Cannon's past online activity was also brought up. Prosecutors are using his claims of being an enforcer and his comments about people's families against him. They even asked Eddie Boy if he wanted to press charges for those comments. It's crazy how things change. Loose Cannon and 600 used to be on the same team, exposing others. Now, 600 is calling Loose Cannon a liar. This shows how quickly life can come at you, especially when you're living a fast life. All of Loose Cannon's enemies seem to be stuck in the past, relics from the 60s, and that's not just a coincidence. It highlights a harsh and sobering truth about gang culture. It's a cycle that refuses to evolve, built on old grudges, outdated codes, and empty promises. People often think gangs provide a sense of safety, a place to belong, like a brotherhood. But the reality is far more brutal. There's no peace here. No true protection. What you find, instead, is betrayal, violence, and a life filled with constant paranoia. Loose Cannon's story isn't some fictional drama crafted for entertainment. These aren't just characters on a screen. They're reflections of real people, real communities, and real consequences. The pain is authentic. The danger is real. And perhaps the most tragic part is this. The very gang he dedicated his life to, the one he believed in, is the one now turning on him. That's the dark irony. Loyalty in this world is often one-sided. The idea of brotherhood? Often nothing more than a myth used to keep people trapped in a cycle of destruction. There's a powerful lesson hidden here. It's not just a cautionary tale, it's a wake-up call. The streets may promise respect, but they rarely deliver anything more than heartbreak. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below, and be sure to check out the video on why a Rolling 60 OG is claiming Brick Baby snitched. Thanks for watching. From platinum-selling artist to public embarrassment, YK Osiris has fallen hard. What happened to the man behind the hit songs? Today we will discuss his financial troubles, public humiliation, and scamming allegations that have left his career in shambles. Stick around as we uncover how YK Osiris went from music stardom to fighting amateur boxing matches for scraps.
I was trying to sing. I was trying to sing. Like, I really want to be like Michael Jackson. So I wanted to sing. Like, I wanted to dance like him and all. You feel me? I wanted to sing. Like,
YK Osiris burst onto the scene with hit tracks like Worth It, a song that not only earned him a triple platinum plaque, but also catapulted him to fame, securing a spot among hip-hop's rising stars. This meteoric rise was fueled by his unique blend of rap, R&B, and pop, which resonated deeply with audiences worldwide. However, behind the glitz and glamour of his newfound success, trouble was brewing. Despite his early achievements, including a nomination for Best New Artist at the 2019 BET Hip Hop Awards and electrifying performances at major festivals, YK Osiris faced significant challenges. His rapid ascent to fame was followed by reports of financial difficulties, including debts to prominent figures in the music industry, such as Drake and Lil Baby.
I ain't gonna owe you no more.
You owe me 60 bands, and you have to perform the song right now in the crib. What are we talking about? What are you talking about? I'm giving you an out.
I'm sorry, let me get my 5 band, bro.
I can't wait to get you. I can't.
You right now.
He's so funny. He's so funny, man.
Additionally, he was involved in controversies surrounding false claims about charitable donations, which further tarnished his public image. These setbacks, combined with a perceived lack of new material and a decrease in his musical output, led to a decline in his popularity. His inability to sustain the momentum of his early success meant that he struggled to maintain his position as a leading figure in the hip-hop scene. YK Osiris's story serves as a cautionary tale about the pressures and pitfalls of sudden fame, highlighting the importance of maintaining artistic output and managing personal and financial responsibilities effectively.
I will give you the word. You just gotta be worthy, yeah.
Sorry! Since Bagaroos! Eat my neck! That nigga losing all his fucking.
Oh, you got it.
YK Osiris has been involved in several high-profile deaths, particularly related to basketball bets. One of the most notable incidents involved losing over $60,000 in a series of basketball games. However, instead of paying up, he seemed to ghost his opponents, leaving them without their winnings. This behavior has led to him being labeled as a scammer by many in the industry. One of his most publicized debts was to Lil Baby, who he owed $5,000. Despite being a platinum artist, YK Osiris struggled to pay back this relatively small amount. The situation became awkward when he ran into Lil Baby at a jewelry store, Icebox, and was confronted about the debt. YK Osiris asked Lil Baby to wait for his next hit before paying him back, which was met with skepticism. Perhaps the most humiliating moment for YK Osiris came when he was forced by Drake to perform his hit song Worth It at Drake's Toronto mansion. This was in repayment for a $60,000 debt he owed Drake from another lost basketball bet. The incident was widely shared on social media, with many ridiculing YK Osiris for his situation. Drake's move was seen as a clever way to shame YK Osiris into paying his debts while also entertaining his audience.